When it comes to living in Denver, it may be difficult to imagine anything negative about the area. There's many pros to living here and its nearby suburbs, but the cons to living in Denver are a bit more difficult to determine and certainly harder to notice. At the same time, there may be pretty big deterrents, so make sure to watch this whole video so that none of those underlying potential issues sneak by you. Hi, I'm Natalie Randall, former teacher turned realtor and real estate strategist, helping people make their move in and to the Denver and greater North Denver areas. If you want to know everything there is to know about living in Denver and the North Denver area, start now by hitting the subscribe button. Also make sure to tap on that bell so that you're notified anytime there's a new video we've made just for you. We welcome any questions, so feel free to call, email, or text anytime. We are here for you when it comes to knowing everything there is to know about living in the Denver area. Remember the saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all? Yes, I know the saying well, and yet on this video, we're going to start with the nice. At the same time, I'm going to give you an honest review of the cons of Denver too. With every good thing about the Denver area, there is also a minor downside. Let's take a look at the pros first. The scenery, number one. Denver's backdrop is the Rocky Mountains, which are iconic in and of themselves. The entire Denver area is absolutely breathtaking and stunning, whether you're on the Eastern Plains, which in some ways resembles Kansas, or if you're in the mountains themselves. Additionally, I've been to major cities across the US, New York, Boston, and I have to say that I believe the architecture and landscaping of the city of Denver is also very well done and pretty. I grew up in the Four Corners area and experienced at a young age the terrain of the Rocky Mountains. It is worth noting that the landscape is, well, more rocky and barren than the lush landscape and green that we would see on the Pacific Northwest coast and the east coast of the Carolinas and further north. So number two, the adventure. Denver and the suburbs are continually bursting with adventures that await. Regardless of whether you are looking for things to do, there's a never-ending list of it, from attending a sporting event, watching a Broadway production at one of the performing arts centers, rafting on the rapids of the Arkansas River, camping, hiking, ATVing, boating, fishing, visiting the state parks and hot springs. You're never without something adventurous to do. So number three, Denver has the ability to host all popular professional sporting events. Football, no problem. We have the Empower Field at Mile High Stadium, home to the Broncos, and field available for those famous Sunday night football games featuring the Broncos and their opponents. Additionally, we have the Pepsi Center, which is home to the Denver Nuggets. And when the NBA games aren't being played, the Pepsi Center also houses the NHL team of the Colorado Avs. Just so happens to be the locals' favorite professional hockey team. Other great events like concerts and Monster Jam also take place at the Pepsi Center. So let's not forget to mention the Colorado Rockies, though, playing at Coors Field, which just happens to be my favorite stadium. Number four, the economy. Despite recent events with COVID-19, Denver's economy is still projected to be one of the fastest to recover, according to a recent article by Forbes. The economy here is projected to still succeed, mostly in part because of the diversification of the industries in the area. Denver is home to many corporations specializing in agricultural, aerospace, tech, bioscience, financial services, broadcast, the list goes on. Number five, the weather. Denver has over 300 days of sun each year. The weather is very tolerable, even in the heat of summer. Most highs average in July and August around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The best part about this is that more often than not, the heat of the day dissipates and cooler temperatures arrive at night around 10 to 20 degrees from that of the hottest temp in the day. So this means that most summer nights, you can enjoy outdoor activities that you prefer to postpone from the heat of the day and just do them in the evening. Taking day trips to the mountains can offer much reprieve also, as the mountains are typically 10 to 20 degrees cooler than Denver, even in the middle of the afternoon. With such an enticing and beautiful picture of how amazing Denver is, it's difficult to imagine there could possibly be any cons to living in the area. While the cons are limited, here's my list of top 5 cons for living in Denver and the North Denver suburbs. Number 1, the altitude. Denver sits at 5,280 feet above sea level. They don't call us the Mile High City for nothing. If you are from an area in the US that is at sea level, it can be very difficult to adapt to the high altitude. When I have clients visiting from out of state, I caution them on altitude sickness, which consists of headaches and nausea. Typically, drinking plenty of water can help combat altitude sickness, and many people will adjust in a matter of weeks. However, there are people that live in the high altitude and still have to combat the effects on their body, which range from difficulty breathing, dehydration, dry skin and hair, and nosebleeds. So even if you are an active hiker or active person, you may catch yourself out of breath while exercising in Denver. Whereas you'll notice in a city at sea level that you have significantly more stamina and it's much easier to breathe. Additionally, because of Denver's elevation, the sun tends to be more intense. So many people sunburn quicker until their skin and their body acclimate. All right, number 2. The traffic. I have been in Denver for 15 years, and I must say that the traffic has progressively worsened. If you are traveling on I-25 and I-70 for morning and evening commutes, you can expect to sit in traffic for an hour or longer, depending on the distance you need to travel. Additionally, Denver's I-25 and I-70 have horrible lunchtime traffic and weekend traffic. The traffic can be somewhat avoided by choosing roads less traveled. As mentioned earlier, with every positive, there is a bit of a downside. The influx in traffic is directly related to the fact that so many people want to move here to enjoy the beautiful scenery and the encouraging economy. So number 3 would be public transportation. While it exists, it's not as well established, like the subsystems in New York or Boston, which also contributes to those longer commute times on the freeways. Denver does have both a light rail and bus system, which are most accessible if you live within the downtown area of Denver or close by. If you happen to live in the suburbs or outside of the downtown region of Denver, many cities offer local transit systems that can take you from one city to another. But again, you may find that parts of the journey will be inhibited by traffic, regardless of the transit system having even their own dedicated lanes on some parts of the freeways. So number 4, cost of living. Denver was a fairly affordable city until the past 6 or 7 years as people have moved here for the lifestyle and career opportunities. With more people moving to the area, there's been a higher demand for housing. And while most people understand the economic law of supply and demand, which is that with low inventory or supply and high demand, the cost of housing has increased significantly. So many parts of Denver and the Denver suburbs have affordable taxes, which is appealing. For more information though on the cost of living in the Denver area, click on the video above or below in the links to watch. The median income in Denver is around $68,377, and it does continue to steadily increase. Denver and the surrounding area though are nowhere near as expensive as San Francisco and New York. Many people that are native to the area though and moving here do experience some sticker shock. Rent is also expensive, which doesn't help. So number 5. Although there are so many beautiful, tolerable sunny days, there's also a few less than ideal days. Winter can be chilly, but it's rarely so miserable that you're stuck indoors for weeks on end. The average low temperatures in winter are around 47 to 49 degrees, December to February. The biggest obstacle in winter are the road conditions. Many people have a difficult time driving as the roads are hard to clear of ice. Additionally, because Denver is nestled at the base of the Rocky Mountains, we do get some pretty significant gusts of wind. It can be super annoying if you have long hair and your hair is constantly whipping your eyeballs with the ends of it. The wind along the eastern plains of Denver can be pretty severe. It's not uncommon to have a little tornado once or twice a year in the springtime. All right, that summarizes the negatives. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. Make sure to comment below with any questions you have. I'm Natalie Randall, and I want you to love where you live.